Okay, so you know how it is, right? You're trying to get things done, whether you're in the middle of a crazy busy office or at home or even like on the go. And finding that balance between actually like getting work done and feeling good while you're doing it, that's a struggle for everyone.
You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, workplace wellness, but we're going to tailor it specifically for you.
That's right. Because we all know, like it's kind of obvious, a healthy and happy worker is a more productive worker. But sometimes we just need that reminder, right? With all the demands of work, it can be tough to keep that top of mind.
Yeah. So today we're going to dig into why this whole workplace wellness thing is so important, why it matters so much. And we'll also, look at some of those common workplace stressors that kind of chip away at our well-being while we're on the job. And most importantly, we'll give you some really practical strategies that you can actually use, things that you can start doing today to boost both your mental and physical fitness at work, wherever you work.
Okay, so let's get into it. Why is workplace wellness so important? Like, it sounds nice and all, but what's the real impact? Why should we be paying attention to this?
Well, when companies and organizations really put a strong focus on workplace wellness, the benefits have a ripple effect. It's not just about, a few perks here and there for employees. It creates this positive, productive environment for everyone, for you, the employee, of course, but also for your employer. And that ultimately impacts the success of the whole organization.
So it's kind of like investing in people.
Exactly, investing in human capital.
I like that. So for our listener, if your workplace really prioritizes wellness, what kind of changes would you actually see in your everyday work life?
Well, for starters, you'd probably find that you're able to focus better and you get more done. When you're not, dealing with mental fatigue or physical discomfort, you can really concentrate on the task at hand. And there's research to back this up. Studies have shown a strong link between well-being programs and, actual work output.
Makes sense. If you're not feeling drained or struggling with feeling unwell, you can actually focus on your work. What are some other benefits?
One of the big ones is that a focus on wellness helps you deal with stress and avoid burnout. Work can be demanding, right? A good company culture will acknowledge that and provide tools and resources. They'll actually encourage habits that help people manage the pressure. And it's interesting because organizations with strong wellness programs tend to see way fewer sick days. It seems like there's a connection between taking care of yourself and having a stronger immune system.
Yeah, no one wants to use up their personal time being sick, so that means more actual time off for you.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the physical stuff. When workplace wellness is a priority, people often report higher job satisfaction and feel more motivated. When you feel like your well-being is valued, you naturally care more about your work. And it helps people create a better work-life balance. So setting boundaries between your job and your personal life, which is huge for, your overall well-being in the long run.
So now let's flip that around. What happens when workplaces don't pay attention to wellness? What are the warning signs? What should we be looking out for both in ourselves and in the companies we work for?
Ignoring wellness can have some pretty big consequences. When companies neglect it, you often see people feeling stressed and burnt out all the time. And like we talked about, that really hurts productivity. You also see a drop in morale. People just aren't as engaged. Think about it like a garden. If you don't take care of it, things start to wilt.
And that negativity can be contagious, right? If people are stressed and checked out, it's going to be hard to get creative work done or collaborate with others.
Yeah, exactly. And practically speaking, when companies ignore wellness, they often see higher turnover. People who are feeling unwell or unsupported are more likely to leave and try to find a workplace that cares about their well-being. And physically, you start to see more problems like back pain, headaches, eye strain, stuff like that. Those are often linked to, sitting for long periods of time and not having good ergonomics at your desk. It's like a reminder that your physical health and your work environment are always affecting each other.
And we can't forget about mental health. Neglecting wellness can make existing mental health conditions worse. And it can even lead to, people developing anxiety and depression. It shows how connected our physical and mental health are.
Absolutely. A healthy workplace isn't just about surface-level perks or anything. It's about building a culture that really supports everyone. A culture where people can thrive both mentally and physically. And it needs to be a sustainable, positive experience.
Okay, so we all agree that workplace wellness is important. Now let's get into some of the roadblocks. those workplace stressors that wear us down.
Of course, the specific things that stress people out will vary a lot depending on your job and industry and all that. But there are some general themes that pop up pretty often. We can't get rid of stress entirely, but when we understand these common stressors, we can start to manage them better, both as individuals and as organizations.
So let's name those culprits. What are some of the big things that lead to stress at work?
One of the biggest is working long hours all the time. I mean, sometimes you have to put in extra time, right? But when people are overworked for long stretches, they get depleted, both mentally and physically. And that actually ends up making them less productive in the long run. Research has even shown that after a certain point, working more hours actually leads to less output and more mistakes.
Yeah, we've all hit that wall. You're just not getting anything done. What else contributes to stress?
Having a bad work-life balance is another huge one. When the line between your job and your personal life gets blurry, it sets you up for burnout. Feeling like you're always on is super draining. You don't get that downtime to recharge and recover.
Especially with all the technology we have, like we're always just a text or email away from work.
Exactly. And another common stressor is when people aren't clear about what their job actually is. Like their role and their responsibilities are unclear. That leads to a lot of anxiety. People might end up doing work that's already been done or forgetting tasks entirely. To cut down on that kind of stress, it's essential that everyone knows exactly what they're responsible for.
That feeling of not knowing what you're supposed to be doing can be a huge burden, for sure. So what about, the physical part of work? Or maybe the lack of physical activity?
Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people. Sitting for hours and hours, which is what a lot of office jobs require, has a real impact on your health. Your posture suffers, your energy levels go down, and it's even bad for your heart. Our bodies are meant to move, and when we don't, it takes a toll, even if we work out when we're not at work.
I feel you. My back after a day at the computer can definitely attest to that. What's one more stressor that we should be aware of?
Tight deadlines. Don't get me wrong, a little bit of pressure can be motivating, but when people are constantly under the gun, rushing to meet deadlines, it can be exhausting. And it leads to a lot of anxiety. It's like being in a constant state of high alert, which is just not sustainable. The first step to managing your well-being is to be able to spot these stressors in your own work life.
I like that. Okay, so let's talk about some common beliefs about workplace wellness. Things that people think are true, but that might not actually be true.
Yeah, sometimes we just assume certain things about productivity and well-being, and those assumptions aren't actually helping us.
Okay, so myth number 1. Taking breaks during the day means you get less done. I think a lot of people struggle with that one. What's the truth?
Yeah. The truth is that short breaks can actually make you more productive. When you give your brain a break, even for a few minutes, it helps you focus and be more creative. You're stepping away, letting the information sink in, and then you can come back with fresh eyes. It's like hitting the reset button for your brain. Cognitive psychology research shows us that we can only focus for so long. So, taking little breaks can actually help you perform better overall and avoid mental burnout.
Right, so you can't expect yourself to operate at 100% all the time. You need to recharge. What about myth number 2? Multitasking is the best way to get a lot done. This one seems like it should be true, but it usually isn't.
Yeah, multitasking is tempting, but it's actually less efficient and more stressful. Research has shown this over and over. Your brain is constantly switching back and forth between tasks, which means you're not really giving anything your full attention. You end up making more mistakes, and it takes longer to get everything done. When you focus on one thing at a time, you can really get into it, and the quality of your work is better.
So quality over quantity when it comes to getting things done. Here's another one. It's fine to sit all day as long as you work out later. I hear a lot of people say this.
I get it. It's a common thought. Working out is great, but it doesn't totally erase the negative effects of sitting for long periods. When you sit for a long time, your circulation suffers and your posture is affected. No matter how much you exercise later, it's important to move around throughout the workday. Just getting up and moving around for a few minutes every hour can make a difference.
So those little bursts of activity throughout the day really matter.
Yeah.
Okay, last myth. Workplace wellness is mostly about physical health.
This is a big one. It's super important to address this because while physical health is part of it, mental and emotional health are just as crucial, maybe even more so. If you don't take care of your mental health, it's going to affect your work. You won't be as productive, you won't enjoy your job as much, and your overall quality of life will suffer. A truly supportive workplace recognizes that well-being means taking care of both your physical and mental health.
I agree. Feeling supported mentally and emotionally is just as important as having a comfortable chair at your desk or whatever. Okay, so now that we've busted some of these myths, let's talk solutions. What are some easy things that people can start doing today to improve their workplace wellness? And these need to be things that people can do no matter where they work.
There are tons of little adjustments that you can make that together can have a big impact. Let's start with movement. Make an effort to move your body more during the day. Stand up, stretch, walk around a little bit every hour, even if it's just a quick lap around your office or whatever. Just those little bits of movement can help get your blood flowing and prevent you from getting stiff.
Those little breaks really help. What else?
Staying hydrated is another one. It's super important, but people forget about it all the time. Keep a water bottle on your desk and sip on it throughout the day. When you're dehydrated, you get tired and it's harder to think clearly. Staying hydrated helps keep your energy up and you can focus better.
Yeah, it's so simple, but we often forget. How about things we can do for our mental well-being during the workday?
Try some mindfulness exercises. You don't have to do like a big meditation session or anything. Even just taking a few deep breaths, paying attention to how your body feels, or doing a short relaxation exercise can help reduce stress. You can find a lot of guided exercises online, and there are apps you can use too.
So like little mental breaks to help you cope with the workday. Got it. And what about setting boundaries? That seems harder and harder to do, especially with how connected we all are to work these days.
You're so right. Setting boundaries is absolutely crucial if you want to avoid burnout. Make a conscious effort to separate your work life from your personal life. Try not to check your work email or do any work-related tasks outside of your work hours. It's really important to give yourself time to rest and recharge. If you don't, you're going to burn out.
I know it's hard, but it's so important. What about the people we work with? How can we improve our interactions to boost wellness?
Build good relationships with your coworkers. Make an effort to chat with them. Be friendly. Share ideas. Help create a supportive work environment. When you feel connected to the people you work with, you're going to enjoy your job more, and it helps you feel like you belong.
If feeling like you're part of a team definitely makes a difference, especially on tough days. What about food?
Oh, that's a good one. Pay attention to what you're snacking on during the day. Instead of reaching for that bag of chips or whatever, which can lead to an energy crash later, choose healthier snacks like fruit, nuts, yogurt. Those will give you more sustained energy, and you'll be less likely to hit that afternoon slump.
Great tips. And last but not least,
make sure you're getting enough sleep. Aim for a good, solid night's rest every night. When you're well rested, you can think more clearly, you're more motivated, and you just feel better overall. If you don't get enough sleep, it's going to affect your work and your health.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about why workplace wellness is so important, what some of the common stressors are, and we've given you some real actionable steps you can start taking right now. So this isn't just some abstract concept. You can start implementing these changes today and see results.
It really is about making those small, consistent changes.
Exactly. Workplace wellness is for everyone. It's not a luxury, it's essential. And when you take care of yourself at work, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping everyone around you.
You're helping to create a more positive and productive work environment.
So, for you listening right now, I have a challenge for you. What's one workplace wellness habit that you can start today? It could be as simple as taking a 5-minute walk every hour, drinking an extra glass of water, or actually setting those boundaries and logging off at a decent time tonight. Just choose one thing and commit to doing it.
Yeah, just take that first step. That's all it takes.
I love that. So think about it. What's that one small step you can take? Here's to a healthier, happier, and more productive workday. Just for you.
I like it.
Thanks for listening.